Shir number 9, simulation of Gimel, Sif Hey. Says the Mechaber, Mutter Lotzes HaPikederis Chamin, you're allowed to put on top of a Kedera that has in it Chamin, Shabbos, on Shabbos, Tafshosh and Bashal Me'erev Shabbos called Tzarkoi. So you're allowed to put on top of a pot that has in it food. You're allowed to put on top of that pot a tafshil that is bashal me'erev Shabbos called tzarkoi that was fully cooked before Shabbos. Kegoin panadish uchiyetze ben. Panadish is a type of a knish or a blintz. The Chama want to make them hot, make them warm. Because it's not the usual way of bishul. But to put it under clothing, which is a tmona, which is on top of the mecham, vadai aser, then it is aser. So what's this halacha saying? You're allowed to take something, a food, where there's no issue of bishul, there's no problem of bishul, it was a special called tzarkoi me'erev Shabbos, and you're allowed to put it on top of a pot that is hot, on top of the pot is on top of the fire. It doesn't speak it out before here in Sifei, but we're talking about the pot is on top of the fire. You're allowed to put food on top of that pot. It says the Moreh from here, Panadish, the kivish ain't by reitiv, since it doesn't have any liquid, ain't by bishul. There's no problem of bishul, even though now it's cold and you're rewarming it, ain't bishul ach a bishul b'dav yavesh, mashikosa sibishin yitches siv tezvav. Umusham chitui nami leka the mixer, you don't have to worry about Semicha. So this is the reason for this sif. How you allowed to take something and put it on top of the pot lechatchila b'Shabbos? There's no chash Semicha. She'ein derech bishul b'kach. That's not the way you cook. The gdeira mafsekes. The gdeira is mafsek between the fire and the food. V'im yesh ba kama. Anu alacha v'im yesh ba shumin. You have in its fats. Osik mashkata simesh v'niches yivav. It's supposed to be sif tezayin, I think. We'll see when we get to it that if you have shumin in it, which is fat, and it's gonna liquefy, that's a problem of noilid. And when we get to Shemit Ches, we'll see that. But the Moreh from here is saying there's no problem of putting it back on. There's no chash Semicha. So one thing we see from the Moreh from over here, that he throws in over here that the problem of chazora on Shabbos is Semicha. It says, lekel migzah mishum chitui nami lekel migzah. You don't have to worry about chitui. So Avram throws in over here that the problem of chazara is chitui. We saw already before that there is a machlokes in the Rishonim. What's the issue of chazara? Is it Mexican mavashal or is it because of chitui? So that's what the Avram says over here. Now all the achronim have a kasha here. In Sif Hey we say you're allowed to put something on top of a pot on Shabbos lechatchila. In Sif Gimel we said, if you have a fire, you put a kedera konis on top of the fire, you're not allowed to put something on top of it, only the chazara. The Mechaber says that Sif Gimel Mashma Baikev Rosh Akdichet of Shiloi Yepen Akdiach Yes Yochlas Laasi Lelanich Kedera Yishana Bekonis Api Akira V'Od Yosem HaKedera Shatavshal B'Teiko Agabe Agdera, Rekonis, V'yizoher, says the Mechaber, Shaloi Yosim Kederosa Agabe Karka V'Shatir Esachas. You have to make sure you don't put it on the floor. Why can't you put it on the floor? If you put it on the floor, you lose the Tanai Chazara. You have to have Tanai Chazara. So in Sif Gimel it says, you want to take a pot from your refrigerator and put it on top of a Kedera Rekonis, you're not allowed to. And in Sif Hey it says, you're allowed to take food from the refrigerator and put it on a pot at the top of the fire on Shabbos. That's a Spiro all the achronim ask.
But it's not a Spiro. One is an empty pot and one is...
Okay, that's what you said. There's one time, we'll get to it. Take it easy.
No,
take it easy. We spoke it out last week. Yeah. You say it's a very partial chilik. One's an empty pot, one's a full pot. Who says that's the difference? Who says that's the difference?
Certainly shouldn't be a difference with regard to looks like cooking, because if
it's a Mexican mavashal,
no one can see what's inside.
Yeah, a Mexican mavashal. Who cares if it's on top of an empty pot, on top of a full pot?
So let me understand. How do you explain this? What's the steer? That it's just that one is talking about an empty pot versus another one, or we're talking here that Nesim Lechatchila?
No, one says Sif Gimel says Nesim Lechatchila is Aser. You have to have Tanai Chazar. You put out Gabi Karka, it's Aser. And Sif Hey it says that you can do Nesim Lechatchila. And the Pashas are both the same case. You have a pot on top of the fire, and you're putting it on top of the pot.
Yeah, but wasn't there a difference that one pot in the first in say Gimel it was opposite the pot and then on top of it?
No, it's opposite. It says a regular pot. They put a pot of Kedei Rekaris on top of the fire.
Okay.
An empty pot. It doesn't say anything more than that. So if you look, in the, let's start with Zagam Evava. So Dagam Evava on this Sif Katan Lamed Gimel.
I know.
You have it by you, Dagam Evava?
Yeah.
So it says the Dagam Evava, Hainu Lefi Masha Echriya Shechanach V'Sibashini Ches Sivches.
On the left. Oh, in the...
And the new one, I'm not sure where it is.
It's in the Otzim Meforshim or something?
Probably that's my first one,
Have you got one like me?
Yeah,
I've got the brown one.
Yeah.
It's probably up in the top corner.
Yeah. No, you don't have the same.
Yeah. That's my first one, Hainu Lefi. So Dagam Evava was the Lady Yehuda. So it says like this: Hainu Lefi you have it. Hainu Lefi Masha Echriya Shulchan the Siman Shinyot Ches Siv Ches Kedei HaRishayna. In Siman Shinyot Ches, it was the same exact shaila, and it says we're allowed to put something lechatchila on top of a pot on Shabbos. When we get the Shinyot Ches, we'll be mashlam the Sif, but same exact shaila brings on 2 days over there, and we paskin that you're allowed to. So Hainu, this is the Fi Masha Echriya Shechanach V'Siman Shinyot Ches Siv Ches Kedei HaRishayna V'Gam Tzli Mutin Im Kedei Mavseketz. That's what the Dagam Evava says, but it adds Ava Be'emes Gam L'Dasa Oisrim Shom. Even the ones who asked over there to put something on top of a pot on Shabbos, they hold that if there's a Kedera being mafsik, it doesn't help. Now, Simi, get it around your head. There's no chilik full or empty. We don't say that yet. I know it's bothering you.
Okay.
When the Prima Gadam is the first one to make that chilik. Till we get the Prima Gadam, there's no such chilik. A pot is a pot. But there's food inside, there's no food inside. Okay, is that okay?
Alright, for now.
For now. So we're talking about Emes, Gamadasa Oisir Shom, so Mahani Hefsek Kedera. If you have Hefsek Kedera, it doesn't work. B'Kamakoim, B'Panadish Mutter, Metam Shekosav Iran. The Iran has a new heter. The Panadish is different than every other food. Why is it different? Even the Panadish, Udovish ain't Darkala Foisal Gabar Kira. Since you never cook a Panadish on top of a Kira, Nikir She'enai Nois Nesham Elo Lechamamai. And therefore we're not going to Semicha. So the Dagam Evava says that Sif Hey has nothing to do with Siman Ches, Shinyot Ches, has nothing to do with Sif Gimel. It's a special case of a Panadish. Panadish is a blintz or a knish, and that thing they would never cook on top of a kira. So when you put it there, everyone knows that it's not bishul, because you never cook it that way. Separate heter by Panadish.
But then it's a major chumrah, because if you're saying if the only thing the only reason why you can put it on is because you know that you don't usually put it on.
Anything else you do should be asur.
Anything else should be asur.
Right, but the Gemara started off that we paskin that you're allowed to put stuff on top of a pot. Because even according to the Oisrim and Shin Yud Ches, that you cannot Sif Hey they'll be masking to. Yeah, according to the Oisrim and Shin Yud Ches, but we paskin it's mutter to put something on top of a pot. So says the Dagam Evava, here Sif Hey is different. It's a certain type of food. It's a panadish. Panadish you never put on top of a kira, and therefore everybody knows that it's not there to cook. He has a kasha there, Sham, Diver Shechanarach Sham, in Masakot of Shechanarach can be Sif Gimel. In Sif Gimel it says over here you're not allowed to put something on top of a pot. In Semicha it says you're allowed to put something on top of a pot. And the Magen Avraham has a kasha. In Semicha Ches Paskin, the Kula you're allowed to. And in Sif Gimel, the Dresden Gimel, the Mechaber is says you're not allowed to. It's a stira. Well, see the Magen Avraham takes care of that stira. For the Hukshal Divrei Kan, the Simen Zeh Adadi, Mashkosav Sif Gimel, and Mashkosav Kam Sifei. He doesn't ask if Gimel to Sifei. Behind him is shown the Panadish, Yesh, Belavi Hachi, Tam Lahater. Anyway, you have reason to be matter is the time of the Ran. Because the reason of the Ran. This is another thing because since in Sifei doesn't say first that was on the fire, so maybe we're talking about it's not on the fire. Okay, another teretz. But because the Dagam Bava says that Sif Hay is its own Sif. Why? Because we're talking about a panadish. A panadish is something that you never put on top of the kira, and therefore it's mutter. And that's the het of the Ran. If you look in the Magen Avraham Sif Kot Lamed Dalet, the Magen Avraham says, "She'osa la'anichai." You're not allowed to put it on top of a kira gorfa katim. Varan kosav zel shoyne efshe davar she'ein darka la'afas agab kira mutter lechama me'agab kira mishetzamek v'raloi she'adavar me'chiach she'ein le'oise elu b'shoshe eschamem ad chan l'shoyne. This is the Ran that the Dagam Bava brings down.
But this head of the Ran is only when it's mistamek v'raloi, or it's even when it's not.
So it's mash only mistamek v'raloi.
So
he says. But only mistamek v'raloi. Correct. Correct. But the Magen Avraham says, "V'das Rabbi says mashma lesar." So the Magen Avraham right away says he argues in the Ran. He doesn't go with the Ran. So to say that the Mechaber Sif Hay is the Ran, the Magen Avraham doesn't like that. So the Magen Avraham does ask a stira from Semicha Ches to Sif Gimel. There it says you're allowed to put something on top of a Gedera, and Sif Gimel says you're not allowed to put something on top of a Gedera. Sif Hay, he doesn't speak about for some reason. But if you look at the Machzor Shekel over here, he brings the Magen Avraham later on. The Machzor Shekel Sif Kote and Lamed Dalet. The Machzor Shekel Sif Kote and Lamed Dalet says, see it? Machzor Shekel Sif Kote and Lamed Dalet She'asur. The Das Rabbi says of near Eliezer came out from Ktsas b'Sifroi Ha'orach Seif Simen began Poi b'Shulchan Aruch when the Kosav Atei b'Panadish the Kosav Busta Dinish l'Rav Davar she'ein Darkoi v'chulu. Al HaKorchach the Swila the Isser he argues. He says the Seif himself doesn't hold of the Ran. Now he says v'Hiksha b'Seif Atei Shabbos Loma b'Panadish Hitter Rabbi Seif Hoyel v'Agdelim Avsekes Litein Aful Lechatchila ובסעיף גימל כוסף, המשכם הבוקר, אף גב תקדם הפסקס, אין למטר, אלא חזורה. אבל לא ייתן לכתחילה. תהיזש לא יניח הגדרה גב בקרקע. So today's Shabbos already asked the stira, Sif Hay to Sif Gimel. Sif Gimel says you're allowed to put on top of it, you're not allowed to do an asim lechatchil on top of a gedera, and Sif Hay says you're allowed to. Today's Shabbos is kasha. The Fiani is titled, if you match the concept of Magen Avraham, come on. Sif Yud Chesed Kon Chav Zayin. The Magen Avraham answers it. What does he say? Asher Shabbos, because of Dafka Dovar Yovoish She'ein Boy Marak Mutter Kerhai Gavna. The Magen Avraham is Simish Yud Ches makes a chiluk, and he says the Mechaber is only matter to put a Dovar Yovoish on top of a pot on Shabbos. Something that's Yovoish, no Marak, ain't Bishul Achabishul, no matter what. That you're allowed to put on top of a pot on Shabbos.
So that's what Sif Hay is talking about.
So Sif Hay is talking about Davar Yovesh. Avaloy Davar Sheyesh by Marak, something that has in a liquid, a fill of Hicham. Even if it's still warm, and there's no Bishul Achabishul, the Imken Asher Shapir. Hide the Sif Gimel, the Mashman, the Mara B'yesh by Marak. Find the Kamot, so Mishir Ches and Magen Avraham Shom. Says the Machzor Shekel, the Magen Avraham has different teretz to Sif Hay and Sif Gimel. Sif Gimel is talking about a liquid, a topshel that has it in water. That you're not allowed to put on a pot on Shabbos, even if there's no problem with Bishul Achabishul. It's still warm, You took it off before Shabbos and it's still warm now on Shabbos, you're allowed to put it on top of a pot. Siv Hey is talking about a Davar Yavesh. A Davar Yavesh you're allowed to put on top of a pot on Shabbos. That's how he makes, that's the chiluk the Avram makes it Shemir Shinut Ches.
But Siv Gimel, at least from the Lashon is mashma that you're dealing with a solid because it says you add water because it's drying up.
No, just the opposite. It's a tafshil. You don't add water to a potato chagul or to a challah. You add water to a tafshil.
So what's Shabaroshi Yichel Tafshil?
It's drying out. That means it is a tafshil that has water in it. There's not enough water. It's losing water. A challah is a tafshil. Right? That's the opposite. You see from Siv Gimel they're talking about something that has a liquid.
So what's
losing the liquid.
What's wrong with Siv Gimel if the liquid is warm? It's still after.
It's still also why. So the one of Ram, Semicha speaks out. Why is the liquid different? Because a liquid making gzeira, you may put it there when it's cold. That's what the Magen Avraham says in Semicha Ches.
So what's the, according to Magen Avraham, what's the chiddush of Sipay?
That you put on top of the pot.
Dry food.
Dry food, you have to put on top of a pot.
Which means you could put liquid.
You're not allowed to put liquid on top of a pot according to Magen Avraham.
Even in Gimel?
In Gimel says Chazor you're allowed to do. That is Sinah Lechatchila. So basically what we have now is there's a stira to Gimel and Hay. The Dogma of Avava says Hay is panadish. It's a separate thing. It's mutter no matter what. The Magen Avraham in Shinut Ches makes the chilik that Gimel is talking about a liquid and Hay is talking about a dry thing, a Davar Yavesh. Then we have the Pri Jun.
But could they be saying the same thing? Because isn't a panadish something that is dry? I mean,
but according to the Magen Avraham, even if it's darkoy, you do cook it there sometimes.
Okay.
According to the Ran, it's only if it's not darkoy. That's the Dogma of Avava and the Magen Avraham.
And the Pri Jun said.
So Pri Jun, if you look at the Bir Halacha,
what's the Havamina that Siv could have gone like the Ran? He rejected.
Who rejected the Magen Avraham?
Yeah.
No, he argues. You don't pass like the Ran.
Right. So I mean, I just but he first offers that might be a solution.
Yeah, because panadish. Panadish is something you usually do not cook on top of the oven, top of a kira.
Right, but he says but since we don't hold like the Ran.
So therefore, Sifei can't be the reasoning. The reasoning can't be the Ran's reasoning.
Right.
Has to be a different reason.
I was bothered. Why would that even be a Havamina? Right. The Mechaber didn't bring down this Ran. It was only the Ramah that brought down the Ran.
Right.
Right. So he's saying he's sort of saying no. By the way, this is not going like the Ran. And then he offers the difference between liquid and dry.
I don't. You have to know if the Magen Avraham is. How the Magen Avraham is learning it in the Mechaber.
Oh, I'm assuming that's what he's doing. He's trying to come up with the teretz, and he says,
I don't know.
By the way, I don't think...
No, the Magen Avraham says as a teretz. So the Magen Avraham brings it down as a teretz to Ran. The Magen Avraham, he has his own teretz, it's Shinut Ches.
Right.
He happens to bring down the Ran. It's Kon Hamadal.
I think he's almost like he's saying, by the way, we don't, you know.
Yeah, he says, the Ran says, so I don't know if he's coming to learn it in the Mechaber.
But that's what's bothering all the Achronim, right? I mean, they're all trying to understand this difficulty. Okay, I mean, I just... Yeah,
love after the Ran is because he doesn't say that. He doesn't say anywhere the Magen Avraham that could be pshat in the Mechaber. He says you should know the Ran holds this way, and there is a argues in it.
But that would be a simple answer.
But the Ran, that's what the Ramah says. Yeah, maybe it's coming to say don't think that the Mechaber means the Ran. Because the Beis himself argues in the Ran.
That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
And he's saying we can't come to that because
the Beis himself
was never mentioned. It's only the Ramah that mentioned the...
Yeah, but it's more than that. The Mechaber himself says we don't pass like the Ran. The Beis says we don't pass like the Ran.
Right. But in the Mechaber it doesn't talk
about that. Like the Ran.
You see that in the Ramah.
Right. So we look at the Bir Halacha at the end of Siman, end of Siv Gimel. It's on page Chav Gimel in the Mishnah Berurah. He says, there also goes to this stira. Yeah, so I'm not going to go to the Bir Halacha. He reads down Dogma Mavava. If you look, like 1, 2, 3, like 6 lines or 7 lines on the bottom.
In which?
It's the Bir Halacha. The Bir Halacha.
Okay.
That's handy. The Bir Halacha is the Mishnah Berurah.
Okay.
The Bir Halacha, it says like this: Achakach matzasi prima gadol. You see it? Achakach matzasi prima gadol.
In the Mishnah Berurah.
Sif Gimel. That's it's before. So let me see. Okay, it's Eliezer. Yeah. Some Achakach matzasi prima gadol.
Yeah.
See it? Some Achakach matzasi prima gadol. Achakach matzasi prima gadol. So like this: Achakach matzasi prima gadol. Sheyishiv zu akoshi b'tuv tam. He answers this question b'tuv tam. V'hu to receive hey she'ayri by medas agabe kederes chamin or tafshil. It has in its food. By nechshav klal ka'oimid agabe kira. Kol hachimutter afliton lechatchila b'Shabbos. Masha'eke ben yenenu sha'chedera reikonis is empty pot. By medas rak lishta meschem akira shaliyah kol ka'achayim v'shum b'suhat. Nasis akira aydeze rak kishar kira grufa ktuma. That makes it into regular grufa ktuma. The aser litin aleha b'Shabbos tafshil lechatchila. But in our case, where there's food inside the pot, so I'm not putting it on top of the oven, I'm putting it on top of the pot. If it's an empty pot, so it's like a blech. You're putting it on the fire with something in between. If there's food in the pot, the pot that has the food in it is on the fire. You're putting something on top of that pot.
So which is worse?
It's worse to put it on an empty pot. An empty pot is just like a garlic cotton, like a blech. Because what's on the fire? You don't look at the pot on the fire. The food is on the fire. The pot they're putting now on top of an empty pot, that's what's on the fire.
And
If the stove was already garlic cotton, already.
We're not talking, it's not garlic cotton, right? Here we're talking.
We're talking about that.
No, it's not. Here's not garlic cotton.
Not in hay. No.
Hay and Gimel aren't garlic cotton. You're putting it on top of a Kedei Reikonis. What is the grief of Ktima? The Kedei Reikonis. So it's not a garlic cotton, it's a regular fire. Sif Gimel and Sif Hay is not talking about a fire that's garlic cotton. It's not garlic cotton, you have a pot on the fire. An empty pot or a full pot on the fire. And you're putting something on top of that pot. That's Sif Gimel and Sif Hay.
That changes the picture.
It doesn't change the thing. I mean, we're talking about here that it's
not garlic cotton. The garlic cotton is through the pot. It becomes garlic cotton. They're putting something on top of that. But the gay of the food they're putting on top of the pot, it's considered garlic cotton because the pot is blocking.
that's in Gimel. What about hay?
In hay, the food that's on the fire has to have been there before Shabbos. The pot that's on the fire itself is not garlic cotton. The food they're putting on top of that pot we're talking about.
But in hay where it's a pot with tafshil in it.
Yeah, it's not garlic cotton on the fire.
What if it had been?
If it's garlic cotton, sure it's mutter. Fire is garlic cotton. You put it on top of a pot that's on top of garlic cotton. That's no question. Everyone's matter that.
So then let's go back to the hot plate, like we like we said.
Yeah. We'll get back to hot plate in a second.
The hot plate is garlic cotton, right? I mean,
Is the hot plate garlic cotton?
Yeah.
of course.
So if the hot plate is garlic cotton, you're allowed to leave something. You're allowed to put something like Yechiel.
Why?
You're allowed to put something like Yechiel. One second. We'll get back to it.
We'll get there.
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to hot plate in a
I
second.
understand the Ramah.
Let's just understand the Pri Jun.
Right.
Meaning,
But to understand the Ramah, it says
Yeah.
Ramah, but who has the insha also by Michel?
the Yechiel al Chazar, yeah. All the more saying here, Hagab, who had this also.
I think this halacha could still be written if it was Garuch Katum. Why? No, so are you saying it can't be Garuch, that it's not Garuch Katum?
The fire is not garlic cotton. The pot, there's a pot on top of a fire. The fire was not garlic cotton.
That you have. I mean, the problem is, what's the issue here?
If you have
Chazara,
you're doing the Chazara, alright, Chazara, I'll grab garlic cotton as mutter for sure.
correct.
Yeah.
So what do you need Kedei Reikonis for?
So in Gimel, if you're going to do a Chazara, so then you're basically doing you're doing the Chazara.
Chazara on what? On a garlic cotton, because the pot is making it garlic cotton.
Yeah, I get
The
that.
pot is making it garlic cotton.
Right.
If it's garlic cotton, you don't need Kedei Reikonis.
Okay. And hay?
Hey, you have a pot on the fire, it's not garlic cotton, and you're putting food on top of that pot. How the pot could be on top of the fire without garlic cotton? You have to have the head of Hanan Yod, the Rabbanon, whatever head you have. Spashal Kaltzarchem is Tamim for Alloy, or it's according to Chananya, it's Gemacha Ben Derasoi, whatever head you have to leave the pot of the fire, you have. We're not talking about that. Now you're putting the food on top of that pot. That's the question. We're not dealing with the pot.
So basically, what you're saying is that even if you have a pot with a tafshil on top of a fire, or a flame fire, it isn't called gorfa.
Say again, if you have?
If you have a pot with food inside, which you left it like Hananya, whether it is
on top of the fire,
the fire's still not called gorfa, even though I have that pot on there.
It is. You put something on top of that pot.
No, I'm saying that pot there with the tafshil in it.
No, why has a gorfa cotton?
Because isn't that pot in itself covering the fire?
It's covering the fire for something on top of it, but not for the pot itself.
No, I'm not saying the pot itself. I'm saying if I put something on top of it,
it's called gorfa cotton. That's Sif Gimel. If you put something on top of that pot, it's called gorfa cotton. Right? That was the chiddush of Sif Gimel. Because till now, if you remember last week we spoke out that till we got to Sif Gimel, we never spoke about our blachs. Because our blachs is a new phenomenon that you have a fire and you have a hefsek. You didn't do anything to the fire. The fire is still as strong as it always was. Tosif Gimel always spoke about was you did something to the actual fire. You were going for kite of the fire. You lowered the fire. You took out the coals. You poured sand over it. Whatever you did. Sif Gimel was a new halacha. The fire is the way it is. I have a hefsek between the fire and my pot. And that's a chiddush that's called goraf v'katan. A hefsek between the fire and your pot is called goraf v'katan. So Sif Gimel says you take an empty pot, you put it on top of the fire, you put something on top of that empty pot, that's called goraf v'katan. Goraf v'katan means I could do a chazara. The sinner l'chatchila you can't do. It comes to Sif Hey, you have a pot on top of your fire, you put something on top of the pot, it's mutter the sinner l'chatchila. What happened? Why is it mutter the sinner l'chatchila? Right, so that's what they're all nachrein bothered by over here. So the Pri Jun says it depends. If the pot is empty, so what's called on top of the fire? The pot that I'm putting on now, that's called what I'm putting on the fire, and there's an empty pot in between, so it's goraf v'katan. So I'm putting a pot on a goraf v'katan. On Shabbos you can't do that. On Shabbos you're not allowed to put a pot on a goraf v'katan. Chazara you're allowed to do. Sif Hey is talking about this food in the pot. So when I put food on top of that pot, I'm not even putting food on top of the fire. What's on top of the fire? The food that's in the pot. The food that I'm putting on top of that pot is not even considered that I'm putting it on the fire.
So what is it? It's better than
it's better than goraf v'katan.
So there's another stage here. So
right, that's chiddush.
Right, so it's even better than
that's what the Pri Jun is a big chiddush.
That's what the food is adding.
Right, that's what the Pri Jun is a chiddush. Right. You can't say Pshit is the chot and Gimel and Hey, it's one has food and one doesn't have food. So what? The Pri Jun is a chiddush. Everyone else argues the Pri Jun. The Magen Avraham, the Dagam Avava, they all argue. SHABBOS, they all argue the Pri Jun. And they say we don't care if there's food in the pot. There's no food in the pot. All you have here is a goraf v'katan, and the sin of the chatchila is awesome. While Matzah and Sif Hey, you have the other terutzim. The Pri Jun comes with a new chiddush that when you have food in the pot, it's better than a goraf v'katan. Now I'm putting food not on top of an oven, I'm putting food on top of food. It's a whole different thing. And therefore it's mutter.
Even the sin of l'chatchila.
Even the sin of l'chatchila is mutter. Because you're not putting it on top of an oven, you're putting it on top of food. That's mutter. The sin of l'chatchila is mutter to put food on top of food. That's the Pri Jun's chiddush.
So according to him, you could probably put lap then too.
Oh yeah, for sure. According to the Pri Jun, if it's lachas, that's not Lagamri.
Yeah,
there's no problem. Bishul lacha bishul. Put whatever you want on top of a pot. The Pri Jun said to is you can put whatever you want on top of a pot. But it has a chumrah. On a kedei rekonis, you can't put anything. On a kedei rekonis, you can't put anything in the chatchila. According to the Magen Avraham and according to the Dagam Avava, you may have a taken by kedei rekonis. According to the Magen Avraham, Panadish according to the Dagam Avava, and according to the Magen Avraham, any yavesh is mutar on a kedei rekonis. Any yavesh is mutar on a kedei rekonis.
So would the Pri Jun allow you to add food into the pot?
No, into the pot you can't add food.
Like on top of the other food? It's like you're adding food, let's say, on top of your food.
No. On top of the pot, he says. In the pot.
It has to be covered.
Yeah, in the pot itself, it's ready putting it on gabe H maybe. Because it's not goraf v'katan. That pot's not considered goraf v'katan.
The Magen Avraham says it's not derech bishul, right?
Yeah.
That's his answer.
Yeah, that's his answer.
Everything is not derech bishul. Empty pot.
So now getting back to the hot plates.
Who cooking for them?
Right? A hot plate is what? It's Garav V'Kotum.
I think so, yeah.
So you're allowed to do Chazara.
Yeah.
The Sinul Lechatchila you can't do. So you're putting it on the fire.
No, so then what if you had something on there?
Oh yeah, of course. If you have a challah pot on the hot plate, you can sure put something on top of that. Even if it's not Garav V'Kotum. Even if your hot plate is not Garav V'Kotum, you have a challah pot on top of the hot plate, you're allowed to put something on top of the challah pot.
What about a pot that's rekanis?
Then you can't. According to Fri Jun, if you have an empty pot on the hot, if it's not Garav V'Kotum, if the hot plate is Garav V'Kotum, and you have a kedei rekanis on top of that, we spoke about last week, you could do it.
Okay, so okay.
That we said last week, because it's like a maziva. Maziva that you have something on top of the maziva, everyone agrees you could do it. Because it's Garav V'Kotum, and you have a pot on top of the Garav V'Kotum, then it's mutter. But to go ahead and put something directly on a Garav V'Kotum, that you can't do.
Now this pot that had the food in it, it doesn't matter the status of it inside the pot.
It must make a difference.
It's not a barella.
It doesn't make a difference. If the food could be kidru chaysa, you put it on Erev Shabbos and it's mutter. Doesn't make a difference. You put something on top of that pot, you're not putting it on top of the fire. You have to, the Pri Jun is a chiddush. He makes a new thing here. When you put something on top of a pot, on top of the fire that's food in it, it's not considered that putting it on top of the fire. It's considered that putting it on top of food. Therefore it's mutter.
But
it's
you
a chiddush of Pri Jun.
defrost. Can you defrost?
Why not? I mean, it depends if there's liquid there or not. I mean, that's the difference.
The smoked salmon, frozen.
Yeah, no problem. You can defrost it.
Can defrost it, right? The ice start to melt?
There's no ice there. There's ice there.
Something frozen.
No, that's a different question. If it melts, it's different. We'll get to it in Ches.
Okay.
But to put something that's solid, to frost, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Fine. That's the first part of the Sif. Sif Hey. So the Ramah speaks out, Hagav, what did you ask Lanicha Gabekira?
So we hold by the Pri Jun?
So the Maisa, Allah Maisa, we go, Ashkenazim for sure, go with the Bir Allah. And we make the difference, a Kedei Rekanis is Aser, and a Kedei that's food in it, Shesh Batafshel is Mutter. That's what we go with, Ashkenazim. The Sfaradim have the Heta, the Chavadas. We go with the Bir Allah. The Ashkenazim go to be halacha that a kedei rekanis is aser, Sinul Lechatchila, and if it's a kedei that has food in it, it's mutter to put something on top of that kedei.
But that's only if it's on a fire that's not Garav V'Kotum, like the initial pot.
Right, if it's Garav V'Kotum.
If it is Garav V'Kotum,
then yeah. If it's Garav V'Kotum, and you put an empty pot on top of that, you want to put on top of that empty pot, that's mutter.
Because, and that's which is essentially the platter.
A platter, if it, yeah, so you say a platter is Garav V'Kotum even without putting a silver foil on it. And you say it's called Garav V'Kotum, so they put empty pot on top of it,
and then
they put something on top of the empty tin. Yeah. Yeah.
So an empty pot on a non-Garav V'Kotum is the way the Be'er Halacha says?
It's Aser.
And it would be Aser.
The Sinul Lechatchila, only Chazar. It's called, because that makes it into a Garav V'Kotum. An empty pot makes it into a Garav V'Kotum, nothing more than that.
The empty pot makes it a Garav V'Kotum.
By Garav V'Kotum, you can do a Chazar, you can't do the Sinul Lechatchila.
Right. But if you have already Garav V'Kotum,
if you have a Garav V'Kotum, so the Sinul Lechatchila is still Aser, put an upside down pot on top of it, then Shlomo Zalman says you can put something on top of that.
Right, so you can do the Sinul Lechatchila on top of it. Right. So my understanding was always that there are different issues that you're trying to solve, but it seems like we're blurring them, which is, by the Sinul Lechatchila, the problem is Nefek Mevashal. By Shehir
Sinul Lechatchila is
the problem is Nefek Mevashal.
Okay.
By Shehir Chazura, the problem is either Nefek Mevashal or
no, she is only Semicha.
Semicha.
Chazara is a machlokes.
It's a machlokes, right? But in the Sinul Lechatchila, you're trying to solve the problem Nefek Mevashal.
Love that. Who says? Sinul Lechatchila could be a Semicha also maybe. If you want Chazara is also Semicha, maybe the Sinul Lechatchila is also Semicha.
But you have something here that's already fully cooked. You have Garav V'Kotum already.
So it makes a difference. Oh, if you have Garav V'Kotum?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, if you have Garav V'Kotum.
I'm saying, so what's left? So what could possibly be the problem? The only problem that's left is the Sinul Lechatchila. You're already taking care of your Garav V'Kotum. You already have it. So all that's left is Nefek Mevashal. So it comes out that the
One second. You're saying is that by Chazara, the Rishonim that say by Chazara, the reason Hashem Yechata, when it's Gora for Kotum, there's not an issue, so it must be as Mexican Mavashal. One second, I don't think if everyone agrees to that. Saying that a sin lechatchila on the Gora for Kotum has to be only because of Mexican Mavashal. Only because of Mexican Mavashal. Have any rights to that? It's a good point. I have to think about it.
So,
I'll say right.
So to finish that, so then it comes out that the same act that you're doing, which is making something Gora for Kotum, later on becomes the act that becomes Mefsek Mevashel. In other words, what takes you out of Gora for Kotum is turning a pot upside down, makes it a Gora for Kotum, right?
But you still didn't get rid of the Mexican Mevashel.
Correct. But so now, in other words, it seems like it has the ability to do both. Turning the pot upside down makes it an empty pot makes it Gora for Kotum.
Correct.
Agree? And if that was already Gora for Kotum,
it takes
you still have a problem. So then turning it upside down makes it an Mefsek Mevashel.
Takes away the Mexican.
Mefsek Mevashel.
Right. Correct.
You'd agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So your hot kugel on a blech, you can actually put it right on an empty pot.
Alright, and then the pot on top of the blech. There's no Mexican Mevashel.
So now you're taking away the Mexican
Mevashel. Correct.
Right. And if it wasn't Gora for Kotum, then it wouldn't help you. You couldn't.
Right. Because even
an empty pot would not be enough.
Because the empty pot would just do it to make it no Shemi Yechata.
It would take off Shemi, right?
Right, but it won't take off Mexican Mevashel.
But it wouldn't take Mexican Mevashel.
Right.
So it's a strange thing. In other words, when you're looking at it, right, when you have a blech, right, that's what it is. When you come to the oven, you have a blech, a stovetop. You have a blech.
So that takes care of Semicha, but not.
It doesn't take care of Mefsek Mevashel. You turn the pot upside down, right, and then it takes care of Mefsek Mevashel.
Right. Correct.
You following it through?
That's yeah, it's true. I have to check into that. So they say that the Rishonim that say that the whole Isser Chazara is because of Mexican Mevashel. So then the sin lechatchila is because of Shem Yechata. So the sin lechatchila on a Gora for Kotum has to be als Mexican Mevashel. Yeah, check into that. Try to find any rise to that. I can argue. I can argue because no, because what you're saying is anytime you have a Gora for Kotum, it's not Shach Shem Yechata. That's what you're saying. That's where you're coming from.
Well, yeah.
You solve the problem.
That's a basic principle.
Yeah, but the principle we know is not 100% true. Because the Tana Gora for Kotum doesn't work for you. Why not? Because Shem Yechata.
Right.
So Gora for Kotum doesn't say that it's not possible Shem Yechata. It's still possible, but if we took away enough of the Shem Yechata, then we're not kosher anymore for Shem Yechata. So it could be the Rishonim that hold that the whole Isser Chazara is only out Shem Yechata. They don't hold the Mexican Mevashel, so they never hold the Mexican Mevashel. They only hold the Isser Shem Yechata. So then it could be if it's a Chazara, so it was there already on Shabbos, not doing the sin lechatchila, we're not kosher Shem Yechata. When you're putting it on the lechatchila on Shabbos, even though it's Gora for Kotum, now we're kosher. Maybe if you're doing it the first time, maybe Shem Yechata. It could be. It could be. It's hard for me to say that the Rishonim that hold the whole Isser Chazara is Shem Yechata, all of a sudden by the sin of the Lechatchil they're going to come up now with the Mexican Mevashel. Hard for me to say that. Let me check into it.
Look at the Mishnah Berurah page Zion, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing, we learned this whole seat that it's Gora for Kotum. It says here, "She'ein derech b'shabbat kach," right? Page Zion.
Yeah.
Right to love, right? The after Kamelon also Lichtenstein lechatchil b'shabbat al kira kulin special kotar hu davar cham the gam hakira group of tuma. Right? Also, hatam yishum denirik mevashel b'shabbat. You still have the other problem.
Yeah, he's going over here for sure to Mexican Mevashel.
Right. You think even if you have a Gora for, he's learning the seed even if it's Gora for Kotum.
Yeah.
Right. We started by saying it's not Gora for Kotum.
No. This is called Gora for Kotum.
Right. He says V'agam.
The Garba Kotam is because the pot is there. We're talking about the food on top of the pot. So it's called Garba Kotam because the pot is there.
So what's left?
Mexican Mavashal. Yeah. Okay, fine, let's move on. So Agav, what is also the Nicha Agabi Kira Afila Grufa Ktuma? Even on Kira Grufa Ktuma is also the put by Tira al Chazara of the direction as bar. But only Mata Chazara, we're not Mata Nasina Lechatchila. Right? Agabi Grufa Ktuma. The only heter in the beginning of the Sif was because it was on top of a Kedera. But the put of food. Right? The Mechaber says, now there'll be Matman Tachas Abegodim. And the Ramah said the same thing is that you can't put it on top of a Kira Grufa Ktuma. Only on top of a Kedera you could do it. Fine. V'yesh Matirim. So here, a small Agdam before we go weiter, they in the olden days used to have the ovens, and they would leave stuff in the oven over Shabbos. So there was two ways of doing it. One way was doing it, they were matmin in the oven over before Shabbos. They did that tomorrow. And for that, they would make the oven really hot before Shabbos. They would stay hot for a long time. And then there was another time they just left the fire the way it was, it died down, and the oven didn't stay as hot. So Shabbos morning, if they did that tomorrow the night before, Friday night, so the oven was very hot, even Shabbos morning. If you didn't do it tomorrow the night before, you just left it in the oven, then Shabbos morning the oven was pretty much, the fire was out. So v'yesh matirim, litem the toich tanner, you're allowed to put inside the tanner, she'afu boibim ba'oid, they cooked in it from Erev Shabbos. We're talking about Shabbos morning, you're allowed to put stuff into the oven on Shabbos, because you cooked in it yesterday. For Shabbos morning, it's already come out. The fire's come out. We'll see in a second if it means it's not yet. So let this boy or not. The me'achash light minu boy, rak awful boy by the since you weren't matman there, you just baked in the area for Shabbos. But nisha boy rak hevel ma'at, there's only a little bit heat. Ve'ein lochosh lebishol, and you don't have to worry about bishol. So here you're allowed to put something into the oven on Shabbos, even though it's not Garav Kotam. It's not Garav Kotam. So now here's a few issues here. One issue is right away. So what are we saying? This oven has a din like Garav Kotam. That's what we're saying. The oven Shabbos morning has a din of Garav Kotam. That's what it's saying here. Shabbos morning, the oven has a din of Garav Kotam. That's why you're allowed to put something into the oven on Shabbos, because you like putting something. This is only Chazara we're talking about. I haven't seen the Lichtenstein. Right. You're allowed to do Chazara into the oven on Shabbos, because you're allowed to do Chazara agabi Garav Kotam, and the oven Shabbos morning has a din of Garav Kotam.
So your Garav Kotam, you didn't even do anything to the oven.
Right. This is its own Garav Kotam. Right. So we'll see the Magen Avraham now. And there's an issue here is because we know Garav Kotam Chazar is mutter, but a tanner, it's not. No. So the first thing I have to say over here is that our tanurim are like a kira, and Garav Kotam works. And the other problem is we said before in Sif Beis that to put it b'toicha is also even a Garav Kotam. Right. So that's the issue that the Magen Avraham speaks about. Let's see the Magen Avraham. V'yesh matirin. This is the lashon of the Daki Moshe. Kosev Beis Yosef. Nahagul ha'chazir. The Magen Avraham is very abbreviated, so we'll try to fill in the abbreviations. Nahagul ha'chazir. You have to put it in. U'mekamokoim mashmed aser. Says the Beis Yosef. This is Daki Moshe, who's the Ramah quoting the Beis Yosef. But inside the oven is also dafka gabi shari of lo yitoicha. Which Kosev Beis. You're only allowed to put it on top and not inside. Even though there was no Agula Hachzir, the minhag was to put it into the oven, which is now considered like a Garav Kotam, still it's Asr. Because even a Garav Kotam is Asr to put B'toicha. Something that's still hot, you don't have to worry about so much. This is the Dr. Moshe speaking already. He's arguing on the Beis Yosef, and he's saying you're allowed to put something into the oven, even though it's taicha, as long as it's not cold. Is he going on the Beis Yosef in Sif Beis?
Which page?
No, but Beisayis over here says that you're not allowed to put it inside, only on top. Beisayis here says, because on Sif Beis we said, Teicha is awesome. So Dr. Moshe over here says, but I still think you're allowed to put it inside, as long as it's warm. But David Tzayin, we're only machmir like the Beisayis, a very cold thing. Because the David Tzayin is what is the problem of Bishul. V'chein minig b'neinu, the choshim with David Tzayin, the hagam heter with David Cham. We're choshish by a cold thing, but the minig heter by a David Cham, she'etziyah min atano k'divrei Haran. Like, we hold like the Ran. Now, here, these words are very important. What is the k'divrei Haran? We saw the Ran at Sif Beis says that something that was on the oven on Shabbos doesn't need Tanai Chazara. Right? Doesn't need Tanai Chazara. It's matter. Only from before Shabbos to Shabbos is there an issue. But on Shabbos itself, you don't need Tanai Chazara. How about putting it Toicha? What was the Ran hold in that case? You're allowed to take something off the oven and put it Toicha on Shabbos. So here's the machlokes. The main thing you have to know for this Magen Avraham is that the machlokes is putting it in the oven included in Tanai Chazara, or is putting it into the oven not included in Tanai Chazara, and that's like you need Garif HaKotam, so you can't put a Teicha. Same idea. Even the Ran will be masking a Teicha as also. That's going to be the machlokes here.
So the Mechaber says even Garif HaKotam, the Teicha you can't do.
Right.
So the question now becomes the same: is the Ran
arguing on Teicha?
On that also?
Right. So the Ran agrees you have to have Garif HaKotam.
Right.
The Ran agrees you have to have Garif HaKotam.
Right, but you don't need the other Tanai.
Oh, the Tanai Chazar you don't need for sure. Teicha, where does that go into?
Does it go
into Tanai Chazara? Right. Or does it go into? Is that?
You have to extend it to
right. Teicha also. That's going to be machlokes over here. If you know that, the Magen Avraham should be easily. V'chein minig b'neinu, the choshim with the Torah head of the Cham, she'etziv and hataner k'divrei Haran. The Ran holds you don't need Tanai Chazara on Shabbos. Therefore, even Teicha is also. Mashal Cholek Beisayis ben Agabel Teicha is there like k'divrei Haran. That's not like the Ran. But Beisayis ben Chilik me'atzmoi, he himself makes the Chilik kach like this. Ve'efshut le'shvir le'chalak b'ha. Maybe he holds you can't be mechalak ben Teicha al Gabel. But puk chazi my amadover. Go look and see what the nation does. So everyone puts it into the oven on Shabbos. Ad kan l'shoyin Dr. Moshe. And now, says the Magen Avraham, Pirish. The Ma'ida Mina Megemara, the Teicha Aser, Hainu Kshenotlo Mi Ba'od Yoim, V'lo Hechziro Yashach HaShecha. Chmash Kosev, Sif Beis it should be. Aval Notla B'Shabbos, Mutter Lachziro L'Grufa Ktuma, Va'afilu L'Teicha, even inside. Why? That's the Ran. V'zeh, Kivish L'Eit Mina Boy, since you were a matmanit Erev Shabbos, have a lake a Grufa Uktuma. That's still like it's Garif HaKotam. That's the Yisrael over here. Since you didn't do a Atmana, only a Bishul, or fear before Shabbos, it's like a Garif HaKotam, a Tzarech Ian, says the Magen Avraham. So you have Beisayis says, Teicha is Aser. The Dr. Moshe says, Teicha is Mutter. Why? Because that's the Ran. The Ran's Matter Teicha. But says the Magen Avraham, but Tzarech Ian, the Ran like Kosev Heter Zeh, Elek Shenicham Agabe Karka. Only if you put it on the floor to have a tchilas atmana. Kivish Yisham b'Shabbos. Aval Inyan heter teicha, but to put it inside, loy mahanizeh. V'zeh das hamachmirim. That's the das of the machmirim. Who we'll see in a second. They argue on this halacha. So basically, what's happening here is the machlokes is teicha according to the Ran mutter, or is teicha according to the Ran aser.
Is the teicha regardless of whether it's a tanner or a kira or not?
No, a tanner, a real tanner would be awesome.
Okay.
Because it doesn't help Garif HaKotam.
So the only question.
But our tanurim are like a kira.
Right.
What does Hatmana mean?
What does Hatmana mean?
In this case.
They call it Lashon Hatmana, but it means putting it back in the oven. Putting it back into the oven. It says Lashon Hatmana, but it doesn't mean Hatmana. It means Shiyah. So having a tchilas Hatmana means putting it in the oven.
No, but the Sid itself is talking about a tanner.
Oh, we're not talking about Hatmana over here. Here we're talking about Shiyah.
Meaning it's something that you have to put it back
into the oven. Into the oven is not called Hatmana. No, into the oven is not called atmana. Because there's air around the pot.
Right.
Into the oven is not called, it's not called atmana.
Okay.
So we're saying like this. According to Dr. Moshe, the Ran does extend all the way to
even Teicha, right?
And the Beis Yosef would not agree to that.
Correct. It says and the Magen
Avraham seems to agree to the Beis
Yosef, right?
So hold on. So you're telling me that this tanur becomes garuf
Katan by itself.
Only in the morning or at night?
Only in the morning.
Because what's happening here is that you're just leaving the oven as is. You're not doing anything to it.
Correct.
You cooked in it. The fire's still going. There's still embers in there.
Correct.
And you're letting it go, and then Shabbat morning you want to put something.
Correct. That's right.
So you basically there's no masa here which makes
right. It happens by itself.
Happens by itself.
Correct. It's called a garva katan by itself. That's what the Magen Avraham says over there. Kibin shelo yitminu boy. He didn't do atmana before Shabbos. He only left it there after an afia. Havaleke grufa ktuma. It's like a garva katan. Even though you didn't do anything, it becomes by itself a garva katan.
Is that only? So you're basically saying I have to leave it all night. I can't put anything that night.
Right.
I have to wait till
100%. Only in the next morning. Only in the next morning to become a garva katan. Friday night, you didn't do a grufa ktuma. It's awesome.
And the Beis Yosef is saying this chiluk of al gapav or the Teicha is his own chiddush.
That's what the Dr. Moshe said.
It's because we don't see it anywhere else. Right?
Yeah, but what's called?
Magen Avraham agrees to that.
Magen Avraham is saying it's not his own chiddush because the Ran never said anything about Teicha. The Ran says you don't need to know Chazara.
Right.
The whole Dr. Moshe is built on the Ran. If the Ran never said it, so it's not the Beis Yosef's chiddush.
Right, but this chiluk, you don't. This chakira,
right. This chiluk,
that's coming from Beis Yosef.
Right.
So one more question. So the Tanakh that we talked about in Sif Aleph, it's also everybody will hold that it's only we talked about erev Shabbos. That Shabbos morning you'll be fine.
No, the Tanakh is Sif Aleph. It could be it's a real Tanakh. The Tanakh here means our kiras. Tanakh here means that our Tanurim today have a din like a kira.
No, because I'm reading the
Chaber, the Ramah, whatever.
Ramah says
right.
Right,
but so who speaks it out? Who speaks it out?
That's what was getting me.
Yeah, because the Tanner, even if it's Garif or Katan, it doesn't help.
Right.
The most you get here is Shabbos morning has a din like Garif or Katan. Shabbos morning we give it a din like Garif or Katan. But if a Tanner, Garif or Katan doesn't work for it, so what are you gaining now has like Garva Katan, so what? Doesn't help. Therefore you have to say what Tanurim means, our Tanurim, which is like a Kira. Let me see if he speaks it out.
Oh right, it can't be. Right, it has to be Tanur Shalom. Right, because otherwise what have you accomplished? If you end up at this Tanur,
right?
So what? So great. So you've
So
accomplished.
the heaven's gone down.
Right. So so what? Go back to the halacha in the days. You still can't do anything with that, right? But that's.
The Chana speak it out. Let's say Michel speak it out, but the Chana speak it out that it means our Tanurim today. But if
you learn like the Ran, then you have something.
So like the Ran.
If it's Garva Katan and you learn like the Ran, then you can't do a Chazara.
Not a Tanur. Only a Kira. Because you need Garva Katan.
Right.
Anytime you need Garva Katan, a Tanur doesn't work. That's the klal.
And even the Ran would hold by that.
Yeah. What the Ran is saying, that you don't need Tanai Chazara on Shabbos. But Garva Katan you need. Do we say speaks it out?
This is the call.
Yeah, I know someone speaks it out. Do we say speaks it out?
Sorry.
Fine. Let's just finish up the Magen Avraham here. So the bush is mashma, even if you did a tmana erev Shabbos, and the oven is very hot erev Shabbos, so it's mutar l'haksel teicha. Achas sudish shachritz. Because by then already, it's cold enough. Kivin the kfar amamu gecholav and already went out to gecholim. Havalek higara v'kato. Ayisham shenitzchak l'nin hete teicha v'leroa divnei Dr. Moshe. He also was worried about the hete of putting it in, and he didn't see the Dr. Moshe. Fine. So that is the Magen Avraham. So again, let's see the Ramah. V'yesh matirim litin l'toich hataner into the tana afu by my doim. Timi acher shaloi tminu by rak afu by my doim. V'nishu by rak hevel ma'at ve'ein lachish lebishul. You don't have to worry about bishul. U'bilvad shaloi nitztan legamri. It has to be that it wasn't nitztan legamri. The food wasn't nitzan legamri. We'll get to that in a second. Why? Nitzan legamri pashtus, then there's a problem of bishul. We'll get to that in a second. V'yesh machmir b'zeh. And some people are machmir. This is what the Magen Avram says. Some people are machmir to put it into the oven because that's called toicha, and the Ran was never matter toicha. Now, when the Magen Avram says over here, Bashla nitzan legamri. So, what's the problem if it is nitzan legamri? So, if you look in the Gra, where's the diak of the?
You're back to the time of the Ran.
What do you mean?
When it's done in? No. Yeah.
If it's Tan Legamri, it's a power bishul.
Yeah.
If it's Tan Legamri, it's a power bishul lacha bishul. If you look in the Bir HaGra, Ubilvad, very, very small, 3 letters. You see it, Ubilvad? Mm-hmm. He says 3 letters. Kinal. That's all he says. Right? Now what does he want with that? So the Bir Halacha, we'll see in a second, says, they see from this Gra that the problem here is bishul. If it's Tan Legamri, it'll be a bishul lacha bishul. A Davar Yavesh, that the Tan Legamri, is there a problem?
No.
No, it's a bishul lacha bishul. If you look at the Magen Avram, Magen Avram says, Lamed Vav, Shloi Nitztanein, Hafilu b'davar she'ein b'ay marak. Even something that doesn't have in it liquid, the left bay mishum bishul, also im nitztanein. It's also im nitztanein. Why? The havalei kimaniach lekira lechatchila b'shabbos the asen le'tiru el chazara v'oli mata chazara. This Magen Avram is a big ma'apech, as I say. Meaning, what's the Magen Avram saying over here? If it's a Tan Legamri, even a Davar Yavesh is a problem. What's the problem? Even a Panadish.
Right.
What's the problem? Davar Yavesh, what's the problem? Says the Magen Avram over here, you know what the problem is? If it's a Tan Legamri, then there's an issue with Chazara. If you take something off the fire on Shabbos, and you want to put it back on, we had Tanai Chazara. Different thing. Says the Magen Avram, it's another Tanai Chazara. If it's Nitztanei, if it gets cold, you can't put it back on. You know why? Because that's called the Nesina Lechatchila on Shabbos.
Isn't that the tzarech anyway?
Isn't that?
One of the first 2 conditions, it has to be hot still.
Yeah, so one of the conditions was it has to be hot. If you remember in the Magen Avram, Sif Khan Yotes, go back to the Magen Avram and Sif Khan Yotes, Roy Sachas, it has to be hot. Magen Avram Sif Khan Yotes, saying what a Tanai Chazara is, it has to be hot. Why does it have to be hot? Says the Magen Avram, Shayas la display ayam ashka simashin yutches ifdalet teloi ke ash v'noag v'lahakol v'mloi nisam l'gam v'ashka simashin yutches v'zvav ayat simazeh v'agov chakos v'shem v'ben yiruchim teloi ke bach aval instamin if it gets cold oz havi bishul, then it's a problem of a bishul. So the Magen Avram is clearly saying over there, Sif Khan Yotes, that if it's a Davar Yavesh, they got cold, it's not a problem. You can put it back. Why do you need a Sachas over here? Because if it's not a Sachas, if it cools down, then you have a problem of Bishul. You have a problem of Bishul. It's not Tanai Chazor that has to be hot. If it cools down, yes, Bishul Acha Bishul. So the Magen Avram over here says clearly that if it's a Davar Yavesh and it's cold, you can put it back on the fire. And here the Magen Avram says that if it's a Davar Yavesh that gets cold, you can't put it back on the fire. Why? Because that's part of the Tanai Chazor. It's a very, very important Magen Avram. Magen Avram here makes a whole new Tanai Chazor. That it's something that cooled down, forget about the Issa Bishul. There's another problem of Tanai Chazor, that something that's cold, you're not allowed to put back onto the oven on Shabbos.
But if he's saying this in the Ran, then the Ran, because earlier he's learning that this whole halakha is going like the Ran.
Even in the Ran. If it's Tanai Chazorah, according to the Ran, on Shabbos, it's only Tanai Chazorah.
No, it's Shabbos, right, the Ran holds you don't need Tanai.
Yes, according to Tanai Chazorah, then it's mutter.
He's learning that this case when it was taken off Erev Shabbos?
According to the Ran, I'll be talking about Erev Shabbos. According to the Ran, I'll be talking about Erev Shabbos.
You have to make a chiluk over here to say that l'seicha, there's none of the other conditions, the pot or the other parts or whatever, right? Because the Magen Avraham over here says by Panadish, right, that there's no bishul lacha bishul.
Right. So that's,
how would he,
so very good, very good. So that's the Bir Allah. We'll see the Bir Allah now. The Bir Allah says, where's the Magen Avraham coming from? So that holds of it.
So how did that? So
what's the problem if it calls Tanai Chazara? It's a new thing. That's what the Magen Avraham says. Also, it's Taneh the Havale Kimeniach Lekiro Lechatchila b'Shabbos to Asen to Leitiru El Chazara only Chazara Umatir. If it cools down, it looks like the Nesina Lechatchila, and it's not called Chazara anymore. That's called the Nesina Lechatchila.
But this also we had before. I mean, why does it have to? I mean, according to the Mechaber, he wants it to be Atzoletis, right? For Chazara.
Yeah.
It has to be Resachas.
That's only by Davalach, because it's Bishul problem. By Davar Yavesh, according to Mechaber, it can be Tzal Nagamri. It's not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, because they have Bishul Lacha Bishul by Davar Yavesh.
So you could say, according to the Magen Avraham, to get around the Sinah Lechatchila, you either need a pot of food with another pot with your pot on top, but L'Seicha, that's not getting away from the Sinah Lechatchila.
So what's that do with the Stanin?
No, because Nitztanin, he says that you've got a problem of the Sinah Lechatchila.
Reheating. So Nitztanin, reheating is not the issue. The problem is that you're losing the first Nesina, and now it's called the new Nesina Lechatchila.
But you can do Nesina, even according to the Magen Avraham, you can do Nesina Lechatchila if you have that hecker.
Yeah, we're not talking about here putting it in the oven.
So that's not right.
Yeah, before also we're talking about a case where you're putting it on top of a garva kotum, not on top of a pot. So on top of a garva kotum it's called Tanai Chazara. You need Tanai Chazara on top of a garva kotum.
Because Magen Avraham doesn't learn like the Pri Megadim. Okay.
So
even if you look at the Pri Megadim, it won't be a problem. This is a new thing here. The Magen Avraham brings up a new issue. That in order to put something back on the fire on Shabbos, it can't be Nitztaneh. Because if it's cold, it becomes in the Sinah Lechatchila on Shabbos.
No, but I get what it said. I mean, here the Sif is definitely talking about the Tocha. It's not talking about putting on top.
So the Tocha.
Right, so maybe it's only the Tocha, he says, if it's cold, forget it, you can't do the Tocha. But if you put it on top, you're
on top of the oven, what should be the difference?
Because you're putting it inside. Maybe it's Mechzei.
It's worse than putting a Tocha, it's worse than putting it on top.
Oh, yeah.
Because on top you already have a pot with food in it.
Right.
So now you're putting it on top of that.
No, there's no pot with food in it. Before on top means.
But you got your pot with food in it.
No. Before it says on top of the black we're talking about, not on top of a pot.
You test, we're talking about on top.
Of black.
Yeah.
He's saying a different color. He's saying.
But Panadish, the Magen Avraham says, ain't boy rated, ain't boy bishul.
Yeah, but still, but Panadish, this was talking about now on top of a pot.
Right.
Then the Magen Avraham says talking about putting something inside the oven,
right?
Not on top of a pot.
Correct.
Says the Magen Avraham if it's cold, you can't put it back in the oven because you're missing Tanai Chazara.
Right.
And before he says you want to put something back on top of the stove, not on top of a pot. Chazara doesn't make a difference if it's cold, as long as it's never yavesh, it's fine.
Yeah. So what we're saying is we're making a chiluk between tocha and.
So Jonathan makes the chiluk that if it's inside, you need more Tanai Chazara than if it's on top.
Right.
Okay. Could be a test of Magen Avraham. Possible. You have to explain that more. Why it should be different? Why they have that difference?
Well, I would think that tocho is because even though you're saying there's air around it, it's an enclosed thing.
So therefore also we have a new Tanai Chazara that has to be resachas. There has to be hot. Okay, maybe. The Acharonim all ask us kasha. Steven the Magen Avraham. The Acharonim all ask us kasha. Steven the Magen Avraham. What do you do with it? We'll see a test in the Pri Megadim in a second.
So, the between.
There's a Magen Avraham Masif Kar in your test, and there's a Magen Avraham Masif Kar in Lam is Vav, is an open steer. It's an open steer between the two Magen Avrahams.
And why can't we just say that? I don't see simple. This is one is talking about a tanner, one is talking about by Yechiel. Is that what you're answering?
No, he's saying one's talking about Toicha, one is talking about Gaba.
I'm saying there's a chiluk between putting something inside the tanner or inside the thing.
Why is this not halacha? This halacha Lamed Vav is talking about a tanner.
But no, our tanners are like a kira. If it's a Tana, then anyway, everything is also.
That question. We've already been through that.
Yeah, if it's a Tana, then everything is also.
Right.
If it's a Tana, then everything is also, no matter what. So here you have a steam between two Magen Avrahams. The question is, do we continue or do we leave it for next week?
Do we leave it in a cliffhanger?
Because there's a lot more still to go. I mean, too much material for 1 week, I think.
If we do it over 3 weeks, it's not so bad either.
I think Steve here will maybe in 3 weeks. We'll see.
Yeah,
So more next time.
The others should understand that Steve is talking about. It's very important.
Yeah,
but one second, before we leave. So next week we'll get into the Steve and the Magen Avraham, and also the next line of the Ramah says, that line is a very important line. How to read it. You see the Gra changes the Girsa from a Vav to a Shin. You have to know what it means. The Magen Avraham doesn't change the Girsa, and from there comes out a lot of Machlokes. So we'll get to it next week in Mitzvah Hashem. But this Steve and the Magen Avraham, should you see the Biur Halacha over here? The Biur Halacha speaks about it.